So not to prosecute the eco-terrorists, they are not mentioned in the story, but the railroad companies themselves, I swear to God. Let me quote, "This finger-pointing and jurisdictional dodgeball means that in Canada, public police forces seldom, if ever, investigate failures by railways in major disasters, including after a runaway train in the BC mountains last winter that killed 3 crew members. In connection with that crash, a Transportation Safety Board official has publicly called for the RCMP to investigate potential criminal negligence." Got it. So these blockades and derailments in the last 30 days, 5 of them, the CBC is trying to connect that to something a year ago, runaway train. The CBC knows in their bones that they're failures of the railways, negligence of the railways. See, the railways aren't the victims of eco-terrorism. No. They're the perpetrators of negligence here. That's what the CBC is saying. The railways need to be investigated, not the CBC's favorite eco-activists. And look at this. This takes a very special creative writing to say this. CBC asked both CN and CP whether, in the past 20 years, they've ever called in outside the police to lead investigations into a major railway incident involving a death, serious injury, or derailment. Both declined to answer that question or answer whether they have ever criminally charged an employee related to railway operations. Got it. So this huge story on the CBC is about railway employees who the CBC thinks are criminals, and the CBC is really mad that they haven't been investigated, and they say the police have absolutely cleared the blockades. Don't believe your lying eyes. Let me read this next part. It's incredible. The RCMP, OPP, Toronto Police, or Hamilton Police, all of which helped clear recent rail blockades, couldn't point to a single case over 20 years where they used their authority to probe a railway crash or fatality. Hey guys, don't believe your lying eyes. No. These protesters, they didn't do it. Believe Trudeau's CBC state broadcaster. Police totally took down that blockade, guys. You can see it right there. See that big red flaming snowball? That's a snowball. Police totally came in and took out that burning snowball, guys. The CBC literally said the police helped clear the blockades. I like that. They helped clear. That's classic. Yeah, they helped. They helped by staying in their toasty warm police cars while severely normal Albertans cleared this one in Alberta. We have literally had 5 derailments in a month, the month of railway blockades. And the CBC is outraged that the RCMP aren't investing the railroads themselves for a derailment that happened years ago on some other matter. That's their big focus. So you've got Trudeau's CBC, Trudeau's RCMP, and of course Trudeau's main interlocutor up there with the Wet'suwet'en, the man who calls himself Chief Woos, who is neither a chief nor named Woos. His mama called him Frank Jimmy Alec. And here's a little bit about him.
I was doing research on Frank Alec, and I found in a newspaper from 1998 this story showing that Frank Jimmy Alec, beat his wife, was accused and convicted at a tribal circle. The elders were presiding as judges, and they convicted him and sentenced him. So it took quite some time to confirm that the person in this article that has these egregious claims against them was indeed the same Frank J. Alec who now considers themselves Chief Woos.
Yeah, fake chief with a real criminal record. I'm shocked. If you had $3 or $4 billion like Warren Buffett, would you put it in a pipeline project in this country? That's an excerpt from my daily show, the Ezra Levant Show. Every day I do a monologue on the news of the day, then I interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. You gotta subscribe. Go to rebelnews.com.